The man who sold the Eiffel Tower twice, Victor Lustig. What if I told you that you could legally sell one of the world's most famous monuments, owned entirely by the state, without a single penny leaving your pocket? Most people think con artists only drain bank accounts or trick individuals online. But in 1925, a man walking the streets of Paris raised the bar to a level that left the entire world speechless. His name was Count Victor Lustig. He wasn't a real count, nor was he an honest man by any stretch. He was a master of deception, a brilliant actor, and a criminal genius who could navigate the complex maze of human psychology like a skilled surgeon. He believed that money wasn't something you had to steal by force. It was something people would gladly hand over if you gave them the right illusion. To understand how his greatest masterpiece unfolded, we have to look at Paris. In 1928, the city was recovering from the shadow of the Great War, and the economy was fragile. One morning, a small, almost unnoticed article appeared in the Paris newspapers. The article mentioned that the maintenance costs of the Eiffel Tower were becoming an unbearable burden for the French government, and there were serious confidential debates about tearing the monument down and selling it as scrap metal. For an ordinary citizen, this was just a sad piece of news. But for Victor Lustig, it was the canvas for the greatest scam in history. Lustig went straight to work with meticulous planning. First, he forged official government stationery, complete with complex seals, designating himself as the Deputy Director General of the Ministry of Posts and Telegraphs. Next, he selected 6 of Paris's largest scrap metal dealers and sent them a highly confidential invitation. The letter requested their presence at the Hotel de Crillon, one of the city's most prestigious and luxurious hotels, for a matter of urgent national security. When the businessmen arrived, they were led into an expensive private suite. Lustig stood before them, wearing a flawless suit and exuding absolute authority. He looked around the room, lowered his voice, and spun them a magnificent tale. He told them that the government was facing a severe financial crisis, and it had been secretly decided to dismantle the Eiffel Tower and sell its 7,000 tons of iron. However, to prevent a massive public outcry, everything had to remain a strict state secret until the very last contract was signed. The businessmen looked at the luxury surroundings, the official seals, and the unshakable confidence of Lustig. They had absolutely no reason to be suspicious. During the meeting, Lustig's sharp eyes locked his eyes on his perfect target, a man named Poisson. Poisson was a wealthy dealer from the provinces who had plenty of money but lacked social status. He desperately wanted to break into the elite circles of Parisian high society. Becoming the legendary businessman who bought the Eiffel Tower would give him the immense prestige he craved. Lustig recognized this insecurity immediately and made Poisson feel like the preferred candidate for the contract. However, just as the deal was closing, Poisson started to get suspicious. He wondered why a top government official was handling such a massive deal in a hotel room instead of a ministry office. Lustig, sensing the sudden shift, did something incredibly bold. He scheduled a private meeting and subtly hinted that he expected a personal favor or a bribe to guarantee that Poisson's bid would win. This was pure genius. In the 1920s, French bureaucracy was notoriously corrupt. The moment Lustig asked for a bribe, all of Poisson's doubts vanished. just a normal, corrupt politician. This deal is 100% real. Poisson didn't just hand over the massive payment for the tower. He also gave Lustig a fortune in cash as a personal bribe. Lustig packed the money into his suitcase and fled to Vienna that very same day. Now brace yourself for the most mind-bending part of the story. A normal criminal would hide out for the rest of their life. But Victor Lustig understood human psychology on a deeper level. While sitting in Vienna, he followed the Paris newspapers every single day, waiting for the scandal to break. But days passed, and nothing happened. Why? Because André Poisson was so utterly humiliated by his own gullibility, and so terrified of losing his reputation in Parisian high society, that he couldn't bring himself to go to the police. He chose to swallow the massive financial loss and stay completely silent to protect his pride. Lustig looked at the newspapers, smiled, and said to himself, "If the police aren't looking for me, why not do it again?" No joke. The man walked right back into Paris just a few weeks later, using the exact same forged government documents and the same strategy. He gathered a completely new group of scrap dealers at a different luxury hotel and successfully sold the Eiffel Tower a second time. This time, however, his second victim went straight to the police. Lustig managed to escape just in time, fleeing to America, where he continued his legendary criminal career. In America, he even crossed paths with Al Capone, successfully conning the most feared gangster in the world, using Capone's own money. Victor Lustig eventually met his end in the famous Alcatraz prison, but he left behind a story that challenges the very nature of value. He proved to the world that money, power, and prestige are ultimately just illusions created in people's minds. If you possess a sharp suit, unshakable confidence, and the ability to weaponize the greed of the person sitting across from you, you can sell even a piece of world heritage. So, what do you think? Was Victor Lustig just a notorious criminal? Or was he a psychological genius who cracked the code of human nature? Let's meet in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe to Fortune's Shadow. See you on the next dark piece of history.